Want to keep up with the latest LEGO Maker 96.1 videos? Make sure to subscribe and ring that bell.
They say that Hollywood is a town built on dreams, and one of its greatest dreamers was Walt Disney.
Wow,
His
Iger
life
narrated
was
this?
full of
That's cool.
exhilarating success and heartbreaking setbacks. But he never gave up. He just kept moving toward that great big, beautiful tomorrow.
Just a dream.
The story of Walt's life is truly a magical one, and no one could tell it quite like Walt himself.
My dad worked as a carpenter in the World's Fair building. He eventually ended up in Chicago as a contractor, and he was doing that when I was born, December 5th, 1901. But my dad made some money as a contractor, and he wanted to get back to the farm. They finally ended up buying this farm in Marceline, Missouri. It was a beautiful farm, but it was not the kind of farm to make a living on. Things got pretty tough on the farm, because my dad had a sickness. So my dad sold the farm, took the money, and went to Kansas City. And my dad bought.
Oh yeah, Walt had fond memories of Marceline.
And they gave me a route. I was about 9 or 10 when I started that. Winter, we'd go out at 3:30 in the morning right after a blizzard, or in a blizzard, or in pouring rain. It didn't matter. I did that for 6 years. It was tough.
The constant hardship took a heavy toll on the Disney family. One by one, the children began to leave home. Then one day, Walt woke up to find his best friend, his brother Roy, had gone as well. So Walt did something that he would do throughout his life when things got tough. He took a chance.
My brother had joined the Navy, so I wanted to join it. Well, I was still a year or two, 16. Finally, this kid came in to me very excited. He said, "There's something just forming here that you and I can get in." I said, "What is it?" He said, "An ambulance unit." I was in Paris, 3rd of September, and Pershing pulled up. Paris, which had been this exciting thing with all its soldiers and things, suddenly there wasn't a soldier to be seen. And I suddenly became very lonesome. So then I went in and put a request in to be discharged.
That's really nice.
So I hit Chicago.
Oh, that's
where
really
my parents were living. And I
Before
said,
he
"Dad, I want
was
to be an
an
artist."
animator and all
And my
this.
dad, he just couldn't buy it. So I pulled stakes and moved to Kansas City. Roy was in Kansas City working at a bank. One of the fellows working with Roy said, "Say, I have a couple of friends that have an art shop." So I went up with these samples, and there were all these corny things I'd done in France.
I love all the drawings that Walt did. They look very impressive.
Well, my gosh, they are. I mean, right on the spot. So I took the camera home, and then I started experimenting. My own way. Then I went Kansas City film anthem. Well, that was where I got started in the animation business. So I figured if I had something novel quick,
The Alice
I might
comics.
crack the market.
I haven't seen those.
But I still couldn't get anywhere with it. I failed.
Yeah, Walt smoking. He actually smoked in real life. Something he took up since World War One. It's a bad habit. Word of advice, kids: don't smoke. It's bad for your health. That includes smoking marijuana, vaping, all that. Smoking is bad for your health. It killed my great-grandparents. True story.
Failure when you know. So I packed all my worldly goods in a cardboard suitcase. I went to Hollywood. Arriving there with just $40 in my pocket.
I wonder what happened to the LAND.
My Kansas City ventures.
Hollywoodland.
Now, my brother Roy was already in Los Angeles. Both of us were unemployed. We solved the problem by going into business for ourselves. We established the first animated cartoon studio in Hollywood.
I love for the show, they actually use
Walt's
a
dreams
lot of
were finally coming true.
family photos and
He had his first
archival
big hit,
recordings of
Oswald
meetings
the Lucky Rabbit.
and interviews of Walt. I specifically love how they showed all the Oswald cartoons before Universal bought the rights to it. Which begs the question, can we get more Oswald cartoons? Think about it.
And he had married the love of his life, Lillian, an ink and paint artist at the studio who shared his dreams. Then he was dealt a devastating blow. On a business trip to New York City, he learned that he had lost ownership of Oswald due to a contract loophole. And to make matters worse, the distributor had signed away Walt's artists.
But back in 2006, Bob Iger got Oswald back. Thank you, Iger. You're the best. Love you, brother.
Most people would have given up right then and there. Not Walt Disney. He sent a telegram to his brother Roy. Everything okay. And as he headed home to California, something happened along the way that would change things forever.
Mickey Mouse came into our life.
He popped out of my mind onto a drawing pad for a train ride from Manhattan to Hollywood at a time when the business fortunes of my brother Roy and myself were at lowest ebb and disaster seemed right around the corner.
Originally, Mickey's name was going to be Mortimer, but Walt's wife Lillian didn't like the name Mortimer, so she suggested the name Mickey, and that's how the name came to be for Mickey Mouse. But there was a character named Mortimer Mouse who appeared in later Disney cartoons. He even appeared in the House of Mouse and the Paul Rudish Mickey Mouse series. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you? Knowing's half the battle.
His first actual screen appearance was at the Old Colony Theater in New York in Steamboat Willie.
That may be true, but his actual screen appearance wasn't playing crazy. As I said in my Steamboat Willie review, Steamboat Willie is the world's first synchronized sound cartoon by Disney. And Playing Crazy was Mickey's first appearance. I know it's a misconception, but I'm just trying to clear things up.
He was the first cartoon character to stress personality, and I thought of him from the first as a distinct individual. I did the voice. Here we go.
And the reason why Walt did the voice of Mickey is because when he was auditioning people for the role of Mickey Mouse, they couldn't get Mickey's voice. Right, because as we know, Mickey talks at a falsetto. And so he did the voice of Mickey himself. Though many other people like Jack McDonald and Bert or Iwan and many others did the voice of Mickey perfectly. So there's space like that.
Mickey was simply a little personality assigned to the purposes of laughter.
I love how
Mickey
those.
fitted the
I
need
love how
exactly.
tall those birthday candles were. Like when the cake gets blown away, the candles stay perfectly in place. I gotta know what cartoon that was. I gotta look into that.
He brought in the money which saved the day. He enabled us to explore our medium, and he paved the way for our more elaborate screen
Poor
ventures.
Pluto being dragged like that.
By nature, I'm an experimenter, so I had another idea which was plaguing my brain. It was a silly symphonies. It was a series without a central character.
Seen that one. That was good.
Every one was a new type of subject to give us something to reach out of and accomplish something different. Then we started distributing both Mickey Mouse and the Silly Symphonies. It was meant at the time, given them out.
Walt began to push himself and his artists, and when he wasn't working, he was worrying about the future. And then the inevitable happened. In 1931, he had what he called a heck of a breakdown. So he did something unique for Walt Disney. He took time off and took his wife on the first vacation they had ever had.
It's good. It's always good to take a break once in a while. Take a little vacation. Relax somewhere. Let your brain recharge. And maybe get down a few ideas or two. I mean, I'm in the same way when I'm coming up with videos or writing stories for my DeviantArt and my Wattpad. It's always good to take a break once in a while. You can't be working 24/7, 365. Think about your health, think about your sanity, and think about those around you. Think about that.
When they returned, he was a new man, filled with ideas for the future.
I love the style of the Mickey cartoons.
I saw the handwriting on the wall there. It was a short subject. It's just a filler on any program. Now, if I could crack the feature field, then I could do things. I had done a little story research on.
That's one of my favorite movies.
Do, and Snow White was one of them. I thought it was the perfect story.
And there's actually a story behind, and before I changed to liking Snow White. I know it's embarrassing to me, but here's what happened. It was back in 2010, and I was on a family vacation with my family. And I was filming the Main Street Electrical Parade. It's a parade that Disney had years ago. And they were coming to the Snow White section. And you know me. And when there's like princesses or such, I usually blow a kiss. So Snow White blew me a kiss, and I just stand there and record. So she came up to me and asked, "Hey, I blew you a kiss. Where's one for me?" So I went like this, and she was on her way. I mean, she wasn't mean or anything, and she didn't want to break character, and I didn't want to be mean, so I just blew her a kiss, and that was that. So basically, it was a bit of embarrassing, and throughout the rest of the trip in Walt Disney World, I just hid from Snow White. And before I went back, like I thought of ideas to pay her back, like for embarrassing me, but I didn't want to be rude. So on TV they were showing Disney's Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. So I sat down and watched the whole movie from beginning to end, and it changed me. I like the movie. So back in 2006, when I went down for another family vacation, I met with Snow White in Epcot, and if you saw the video that I made, that my aunt recorded, which I was polite enough to ask if I could post it on my channel, well, she said yes. To which she said yes. I did a little curtsy, like being a gentleman, taking my hat off and bowing, royalty. And so we talked a little bit, and we had a little photo. And before she left, and before I left, I did a little curtsy again, and I was off. Oh, little known fact, I did the same thing to Princess Aurora back in 2013, I believe it was. Uh, This was in France at Epcot. I didn't want to break character. What can I say? I mean, granted, Snow White's a nice woman, and I didn't want to ruin anything for the kids. So, yeah, there's basically that.
I had the heavy.
It's some magic wish. Make a wish.
I had the prince.
I love how the storyboard phases they had back then, and for the make that looks cool.
We started Snow White sometime in late 35, and around 2 years in the making. We had the family fortune, we had everything wrapped up in Snow White. In fact,
Well, put
the banker, I think, was losing more sleep than I was. We had a big
Not bad.
premiere at the Carly Circle Theater.
That's gone now.
Premiere.
Carly Circle
All
Theater.
Hollywood brass turned out for a cartoon.
Disney's Folly actually became Disney's Success. That's cool.
The Daddy of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is going to be presented this beautiful statue. Isn't that great, Mr. Amos?
Oh, it's beautiful.
That is a cool statue.
Well, I'm so proud, I think I'll bust.
With the
That's
promise of
awesome.
Snow White, I built a studio. 2 years later, I was almost broke. But I had all
You know,
the
that's
things
always on my
first.
bucket list. Not only do I want to visit Disneyland, but I always visit Walt Disney Studios to see where all the cartoons and movies, anything that's Disney related, was made. That's always on my bucket list.
That was when war came. The whole world was collapsing then.
Oh yeah, Disney also made World War II shorts, propaganda films, as it were. Yeah, most of Walt's animators actually signed up for the fight, and the army actually occupied the Walt Disney Studio when World War II broke out and when the United States entered the war, or back in 1941. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
So many of my boys went through the
Yeah,
service.
and Donald Duck, believe it or not, he actually became a poster boy for the army. Yeah, poster boy for World War II. I mean, think about it this way. I mean, look at Donald's outfit. He's basically a sailor. In all our lives we've seen him, we never see him back in the Navy. Well, we see him in the DuckTales series, but that's besides the point. I mean, hell, he was in the army at least a few hundred times. He was in the Scouts, and hell, he was even a freaking Nazi. I mean, for a propaganda short. By the way, the short I'm talking about is The Fuhrer's Face. I've seen it. It's hilarious. Just check it out. It's really good.
So I just.
There's the army.
I teach production. That's all I can do. But after the war, it was quite a problem picking up the pieces. I knew that diversifying in the business would be the salvation of it. So I tried various things. I wanted to go beyond the
True Life Adventures.
So I thought if I could get into the live end, that there's things I could do. Stand by, engines.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Haven't seen that movie.
Not bad, eh, Charlie? Let's open her up and see what you... really do.
I wanted to look different types of things that I could fall on my nose. One of these pictures that I had another one right behind it that would hit. After all Johnson.
Well, let's not forget he also did. Let's not forget that Walt also did the package films. Believe it or not, there were these shorts that Walt Disney had planned and were already done and were going to be released. But World War II happened, so after the war, Walt decided to put all those shorts together and made them a thing called the package films. Make My Music, Melody Time, and Fun and Fancy Free, and all that. Well, that's how the package films came to be. You know what I mean? Like Pico's Bill, Johnny Appleseed, and all those other Disney shorts. Well, those were in those particular package films. Yeah, you didn't know that, did you?
Concentration on live action and cartoon films, we decided to try something that would employ about every trick we learned in the making of films. We would combine cartoon, live action, and enormous fantasy, Mary Poppins.
I actually saw this years
The
ago.
original Mary Poppins budget of
Really good.
$500 continued to grow. I never saw a sad face around the studio. If my brother Roy was happy, this made me nervous. And the horrible thought struck me. Suppose the staff had finally conceded that I knew what I was doing.
Once again, Walt Disney had created storytelling magic to reinvent family entertainment. But even then, he wasn't finished. He had a bigger dream in mind.
Well, it came about
Mickey
when my
Mouse
daughters
Park.
were very young, and Saturday was always Daddy's Day with the two daughters. So we'd start out and try to go someplace.
Oh yeah, that's
do
actually true.
different
Walt
things,
Disney
and I
rode
was-
a bike. In fact, did you know during the construction of Disneyland and in Tomorrowland, there's actually recordings of Walt Disney riding a bike in Tomorrowland, which was under construction at the time. Now that was really cool.
Take them to the merry-go-round, and I took them different places. And as I'd sit there while they rode the merry-go-round, did all these things, I felt that there should be something built, some kind of an amusement enterprise built where the parents and the children could have fun together.
That place was Griffith Park,
So that's how
and that
Disney
bench
started.
at Disneyland, which Walt sat on,
Takes a lot
it's
of
still
money
there
to
at
make these dreams come
the
true.
theater where Great Moments with Miss
We
Lincoln
had
is.
everything mortgaged, including my family. I started with many ideas, threw them away, started all over again. Eventually,
The
it evolved
Blessing
into what you
phase.
see today as Disneyland. But it all started from a daddy with two daughters wondering where he could take them, where he could have a little fun with them too. The park means a lot to me, in that something will never be finished, something that I can keep developing and adding to. Not only can I add things, but even the trees will keep growing. The thing will get more beautiful every year.
Love that quote.
But I knew that if I did anything like the park, I had to have
Disneyland would
some
never be
sort of
finished.
medium like television to let the people know about it.
They should add every single episodes from The Wonderful World of Color in on Disney Plus. I would love to see them all. I saw one on Disney Plus called The Plausible Impossible. It's really good. And that song too, The Wonderful World of Color. That's a great song.
And now your host, Walt Disney. Today, I want to share with you some of our ideas for Disney World. Here in Florida, we have something special we never enjoyed.
Florida
at Disney.
Project.
A blessing of size. There's enough land here to hold all of the ideas and plans we could possibly imagine.
Now that's one of the first
We know what
Disney
our
theme
goals
parks
are.
I've been to.
We
The
know
Walt
what
Disney
we'll
World.
accomplish.
Back in
Believe
1997.
me,
I was
it's
a
the most
year old
exciting
by the
and
time I
challenging
moved down.
assignment we've ever tackled. at Walt
I was
Disney
down there with
Productions.
my older brother, my father, and my mother.
Throughout his storied career, Walt never gave up,
Oh, there's
despite
Epcot.
the many challenges along the way. For his visionary work, he received hundreds of awards from all corners of the globe, more Academy Awards than any individual in history, and the Presidential Medal of Freedom for a lifetime of inspiring
He won those
others.
many awards?
He created dreams
Damn.
that live on today
That's cool.
for millions around the world.
Well, there he is. There's the big man himself.
When asked to name his greatest reward, Walt's reply was surprisingly humble.
That looks
Well, my
really
greatest
cool.
reward, I think, is that I've been
been able to build
He
this
looks
wonderful
just like
organization.
Walt.
And also to have the public appreciate
Oh, what am I
and
thinking? That is Walt.
what I've done all these
Like-
years. That is a great reward.
I love with
But
this
all
animatronic,
individuals
they
are
actually
different.
use
I had a brother
archival recordings to
I
make
really envied
the
because
animatronic talk.
he was a mailman, but he was the one that had all the fun. He had himself a trailer, and he used to go out and go fishing, and he didn't
That
worry
is
about
cool.
payrolls, that had stories, he just had picture grocers or anything, and he was the happy one. I
You
always
think
said,
because of this,
he's
you
the
think
smart
Florida will
Disney.
get its own Walt animatronic? It's a possibility.
You know, I was stumped one day when the little boy asked, "Do you draw Mickey Mouse?" And I had to admit I do not draw anymore. Well, then you think of all the jokes and ideas. No, I said, I don't do that. Finally, he looked at me and said, "Mr. Disney, just what do you do?" Well, I said, sometimes I think of myself as a little bee. I go from one area of the studio to another and gather pollen and sort of stimulate everyone. I guess that's the job I do. You know, there's a lot of satisfaction in developing ideas into realities, but there's really no secret about our approach. We keep moving forward, opening up new doors, doing new things, because we're curious. And curiosity keeps leading us down new paths. We're always exploring and experimenting. We're interested in doing things that are fun, in bringing pleasure and especially laughter to people. But I only hope that we never lose sight of one thing. That was all started by a mouse.
That's true. And that is really nice. The projection, all the photos of Walt Disney, and his friends, his co-workers, all the accomplishments. This is breathtaking. Magnifique. Magnificent. Thank you, Mr. Disney.